What's up, Rich Squad? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dominic Rich, and I'm back with another live stream to cover the 2019 AFC Asian Cup, where we are now into the round of 16. We saw 6 matches completed already in the round of 16. We have 2 more left until we move on to the quarterfinals. The tournament is winding down, and it has been a very, very awesome competition so far. What's up, everyone, man? Bethel, Brian, and Omar M up in here. Guys, sorry for being late again. No, I'm not really late, but still, it's a bit late. I should have already, made this live stream earlier today, but it's fine. It's fine. How are you guys doing today? I am good. I had a pretty smooth day despite it being very, 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 very cold. Like, goddamn, it was cold today. It has been the coldest day of the winter. So, very, very cold day. Give me 1 second. Okay. Just wanted to pull the chat up on my laptop. Beta says everyone is sleeping and I'm downstairs on the couch. Haha. It's bedtime. Don't you have school tomorrow? Official Aduma. It's really cold in Egypt too, man. It's freezing today. Today is like very, very, very. Today is what you call brick. Brian, how is it in Canada? I could just imagine, man. It must be crazy in Canada. If it's this cold in New York, it must be crazy in Canada. What's up, Layet Gaming? How are you, man? Welcome back to the stream. Thanks, everyone who have joined the stream right now. Really appreciate it. Today's stream won't be super long, so let's start going through the 3 matches that were played today. 21st of January 2019 in the 2019 AFC Asian Cup. We saw Iran defeat Oman 2-0 yesterday to book their place into the quarterfinals. And we also saw Vietnam book their place into the quarterfinals after defeating Jordan 4-2 on penalties. China defeated Thailand 2-1. Those were yesterday's matches. So China will face Iran in the quarterfinals, and we have Vietnam taking on Japan, who defeated Saudi Arabia 1-0 today. Well, for that game, I saw that match, bits and pieces of it, and Japan, yet again, they win the game without being too convincing. I could say they were better today in defense than they were in attack, because once they got their goal in the 28th minute through the defender Tomiyasu from a corner, really thumping header to beat, Al Owais in goal. It's like they shut up shop. They had a few more, chances, but it wasn't anything too crazy to threaten Saudi Arabia. It was mostly Saudi Arabia going forward, but they also lacked potency in, the Japan's third of the field. As you can tell, Saudi Arabia 15 shots at goal, 1 single shot on target. 1. That is horrible. Japan 5 shots at goal, also tame, 2 on target. Saudi Arabia, 77% of the possession compared to Japan's 23%. Like, this is ridiculous. What kind of stat is that? It was Saudi Arabia for most of the game, but they just could not create, anything substantial to breach the Japanese defense. I could remember one time, Saudi Arabia had a shot and Nagatomo just slid over and just blocked it. So it was mostly rearguard action, by Japan after, scoring that goal. 23%, guys. Could you believe it? So there were 40 fouls in the game. 40 fouls. Like, that's ridiculous. 3 yellow cards being shown, 2 for Saudi Arabia and 1 for Japan. 6 corners for Saudi Arabia, 4 for Japan. Saudi Arabia's coach, Juan Antonio Pizzi, has now stepped down as, the man in charge of Saudi Arabia. I knew something would have happened if they lost the game. I predicted Saudi Arabia to win this game 1-1 penalties. They would win on penalties, but they weren't able to equalize. I'm really disappointed in the way the Saudis played today. They played with very little luck, but again, you have to look at the game from two sides. You can't say that, Japan was really tame, because once they got the goal, they just knew what they needed. They needed that one, they needed one goal. They got their goal and they kept what they own and they went on to win the game. It's just simple as that. Simple football. They did not try to like go forward all the time to try to, score a second. They just knew what they had, kept it. Saudi Arabia out of the competition. For Japan, these two teams had 15 previous meetings, with Japan winning 9. Saudi Arabia winning 5, and one game ending in a draw. So, history was in favor of Japan, and it continued, to go in their favor. They had met 7 previous occasions in the Asian Cup, twice in the finals, with Japan winning both. Saudi Arabia winning 1 game that was played in the semi-final. And, Japan's player to watch, Yuya Osako, as I mentioned, I don't think he was even involved in the game. Did he even come off the bench? No, he wasn't involved in the game. It was a defender who scored. So, Japan, guys, are they going to scrape through to win this competition in first gear? I mentioned that early on in the while covering the tournament, that Japan are playing like how France did at the World Cup, barely, coming through and still picking up results. So very, very decent team going through transition, but these guys are quality players, playing for some of the top teams in Japan and playing abroad. So I guess well-deserved win for Japan. Saudi Arabia, man, weren't clinical enough. For the next game, as I said, Japan, they will meet Vietnam. That will be one mouth-watering clash. Vietnam will not be a pushover. I think they will definitely challenge Japan and, push them right to the very end. Japan has the edge, of course, but, Vietnam has been very, very impressive at the tournament. The next match, Australia, Uzbekistan. This game ended in a 0-0 draw all the way to 120 minutes, with Australia winning 4-2 on penalties. Australia, they were wasteful today. They had a lot of chances, but they were very, very wasteful. Could not, find the back of the net. 17 shots, 9 on target, 0 goals. That tells the story. Uzbekistan, 7 shots at goal, 2 on target. They threatened, the Aussie goalkeeper a few times, with Matt Ryan pulling off big saves. Hats off to Matt Ryan there. Put his team into the quarterfinals, basically in the game and in the penalty shootout. Australia had 61% of the possession compared to Uzbekistan's 39%. I always expected Uzbekistan to sit back and play, more defensive style of football, while Australia to attack. 909 passes by Australia with 88% pass completion. That really tells you Australia lost this game, but just did not have any end product. Then Uzbekistan, 579 passes, 78% pass accuracy. 13 fouls committed by Australia, 16 by Uzbekistan. So it was a feisty game. Guys, remember the last time these two teams clashed at the Asian Cup, it was the semifinals of the 2011 tournament that Australia won 6-0. Australia and Uzbekistan has met each other on 3 occasions, with Australia winning 3. This makes it 4. You know, so Australia continues to get the better of Uzbekistan. You know, Uz versus Uz. It was a good game. It was a really, really good game, but it ended in heartbreak for the White Wolves, and it ended in happiness for the Socceroos. Australia, they will face the UAE. Guys, if I'm forgetting to mention any key points, you know, pardon me. I just want to run through these, you know, fixtures. They will play the UAE, who won today versus Kyrgyzstan very, very unconvincingly. The game ended 3-2 in favor of the UAE. It went the full 120 minutes, and it, you know, you have to blame the masterclass of the Kyrgyzstan coach. Did I mention Kyrgyzstan? Did I say Kyrgyzstan? Did I say UAE versus Kyrgyzstan? Can't even remember what I said just now. But UAE 3, Kyrgyzstan 2. First goal was scored by Kames Ismail in the 14th minute. Then we had Merlan Mirzayev equalizing in the 26th minute. Then Ali Makbout put the UAE up ahead in the 64th minute. And then Ali Makbout had a lot of chances to score goals in this game. And the UAE, they were wasteful. Really wasteful. They should have put this game to bed within 90 minutes, but they were wasteful. Then masterclass by the Kyrgyzstan manager. Because if you check his substitutions, he brought on Anton Zemlyan-Nukin. He brought him on, I think, around a 70-something minute. And then he brought on Rustamov, the goal scorer. And then we had Rustamov equalizing in the dying numbers of the game, set up by Zemlyan-Nukin. So, tells a story. I think it was from a corner. Zemlyan-Nukin with the corner. I can't remember, but it was a really nice goal to send the game into extra time. But it was, you know, heartbreak for Kyrgyzstan. They conceded a penalty early in the, you know, extra time, in the first half of extra time, which Ahmed Khalil stepped up to put away. Very soft penalty, in my opinion. Very soft. And UAE went on to win the game very unconvincingly, I must say. Guys, I actually watched the highlights for these games a few hours ago, and there's a few things that happened. You know, 3 games, I can't remember every single little detail from the match. You know, some of you guys might be able to remember some of the little, you know, fun things that happened in the game, like, you know, handball wasn't being called or anything, you know, and stuff like that. But I'm not really here to deep dive too much into these fixtures. So the UAE will go on to the quarterfinals to face Australia. So right now in the quarterfinals, we have the UAE versus Australia. We have Vietnam versus Japan and China versus Iran. We have 2 more matches to be played tomorrow, and I expect those matches to be exciting as well. South Korea versus Bahrain. Well, South Korea has the edge. They have Han Son back in their team. Bahrain has, you know, shown themselves to be a very, you know, respectable opponent. And we have the big one, Qatar versus Iraq. This one is definitely one to watch. If you don't watch the South Korea versus Bahrain, you have to watch the Qatar versus Iraq. Today, I had some difficulties catching these matches. I saw the first game between Saudi Arabia and Japan, and then I don't know if it's because Saudi Arabia lost. I was watching it on an Arabic channel. My regular sources that I used to watch the games just flunked out. I don't know what happened. It just flunked out, and I was like, what is going on here? Throughout the group phase, I was able to watch every single game, and, you know, or at least some of every single game. And now when it really matters, the crunch time, all the streams are like messing up. Hotstar, I tried Hotstar, but you know, I think you gotta download that app, and then I can't remember if I had to. I can't remember what it prompted me to do, but you know, today wasn't a good day in terms of me finding the stream. But my conspiracy is after Saudi Arabia lost, the Arabic channel I was watching the game on decided not to show any more games because they were pissed. You know, and I realized when watching the games in Arabic, and I guess it's a Saudi channel, the commentators are so biased, guys. You could hear the emotion in the voice. I don't understand the language, but you could hear the emotion in the voice whenever they're going forward to score a goal and they don't score. Whenever they don't score, you hear the disappointment in their voice. And whenever the opponent score, you hear it. And I'm like, oh man, something fishy here. But wasn't able to watch the Uzbekistan-Australia game, nor the UAE Kyrgyzstan match, and I bet both matches were very, very exciting. The Japan-Saudi game wasn't, you know, crazy exciting, but, you know, it was still worth watching. Guys, for the two matches coming up tomorrow, South Korea, Bahrain. South Korea topping Group C, Bahrain third in Group A. Very, very kind draw for South Korea. 28 previous meetings between these two teams, 3 wins for Bahrain. So they are really, you know, they have a mountain to climb. 15 wins for South Korea, 5 draws. They met 3 times at the Asian Cup, 1988. Bahrain won that game. Then, 2007, Bahrain won that match. And then, as I mentioned, 2007, Bahrain had a golden generation of players. And then 2011, when those players faded away, we saw Korea Republic winning that game. So for Korea Republic, their player to watch, of course, is Son Heung-min. And for Bahrain, player to watch is Mohamed Al-Romaihi. South Korea's best finish came in 1956 and 1960, the first 2 editions of the tournament, where they won it. It was only 4 teams involved, and they were runners-up at the last tournament in 2015 when they lost in the finals to Australia. For Bahrain, their best finish was 4th in 2004. Remember, as I said, around that time, Golden Generation almost qualified for the World Cup, lost to Trinidad and Tobago, the Soca Warriors, you know, in the playoffs. And then in 2010, I think they lost to New Zealand in the playoffs, or Uruguay, one of those teams. So that golden generation has, you know, since faded away. But who knows? They could be coming back. They could be coming back. My prediction for this match is a 3-0 win for South Korea. Convincing win for South Korea, Heung-min Son and them boys. 3-0 win. What am I saying? 4. What are your predictions for this game, guys? Thank you, Banter Claus. Thank you for clarifying it was New Zealand. What is your prediction? What are your predictions? Okay, Layet says a 1-0 win for South Korea. We have any more predictions, guys? Any more predictions? But I'd like to take the time to say congratulations to the 6 teams who have qualified for the quarterfinals so far. You know, Vietnam, very, very impressive versus Jordan to bag that equalizer, to take the game into extra time and, you know, to win on penalties. That player, you know, Kong Fong, I really like that guy. And then China toppling Thailand, who, you know, was impressive at the tournament, but China getting the better of them like they have done in the past. Iran scraping past Oman. You know, it was a very, very feisty contest. Oman could have, you know, picked up a win in that game, but it just wasn't their day. I think Oman has played with very, very little luck in this tournament. Then we have, as I mentioned, Japan toppling Saudi Arabia, who I think could have done better. You know, they played more attractive football on the day, but it's not about attractive football. It's about, you know, who scores the most goals. Then we have UAE, the host. You know, I guess home court advantage is working. Home support, the luck. You know, they ride in their luck and they scrape past Kyrgyzstan, who are making their debut at the tournament, and they have been really, really impressive. Look out for Kyrgyzstan in the future, guys. You know, they have turned things around after their horrific showing versus China, and against I think South Korea was the other team in their group, if I could recall. But let me double check there. But Kyrgyzstan, yes, South Korea. See, it's not good to second guess yourself. And Australia getting over Uzbekistan, who in Uzbekistan they were unlucky not to, you know, scrape past Australia today, you know, who did not take their chances. So right now, guys, quarterfinals, again, I repeat, China versus Iran. I got Iran going past China. Vietnam versus Japan. Oh, but this one is hard. I would like to see Vietnam scrape past Japan, but seems like this Japan team are gonna, you know, go very, very far in the tournament without even switching gears. Then we have the UAE versus Australia. I did predict this clash, and I have Australia moving forward. I see South Korea and Qatar meeting each other in the other quarterfinals. So I could repeat my predictions. I have Qatar, Australia in the semis. I will do another video called quarterfinals predictions and beyond to, you know, touch up on, you know, the quarterfinals and give you guys some more history between all the teams meeting each other in the quarterfinals, like I did in the round of 16. And then I have Iran versus Japan in the semi, the other semi. That's a big one again. I have Iran going all the way to meet Qatar in the final and winning the thing. So that's only my prediction. So I will have to, you know, readjust according to every single result. But guys, if you have any questions for me right now, feel free to ask. I'm not making today's live stream too long. It's already midnight. I have to get to bed, work in the morning. Hopefully tomorrow isn't too cold like it was today. I just hope it wasn't too cold. But I really appreciate you guys joining today. But any questions for me, ask me right now. If you want to mention anything, you know, about any of the games, please do it in the chat. You know, please do it in the comments for those of you guys who are watching the replay. So, anything to add, guys? Okay. All right. Let asks, will Iraq versus Qatar go to penalties? Let me double check my prediction for that game. I'm actually predicting it to go to extra time, finishing 3-2 in favor of Qatar. So I'm definitely predicting it to go all the way to 120 minutes. So guys, so far we had, let me let you know, Asian Cup, give me 1 second. So far, round of 16, we had the Jordan-Vietnam go into penalties. We had Australia, Uzbekistan go into penalties. We had the UAE versus Kyrgyzstan going all the way to 120 minutes. Japan, Saudi Arabia finished in 90. Oman, Iran 90. And the Thailand versus China finishing in 90 minutes as well. So 2 more fixtures, South Korea, Bahrain. I don't think that one will go 120 minutes. I think that one will finish in 90 minutes in favor of South Korea. But the Qatar, Iraq will be one to watch. Okay, how far do you think Iraq will go if they won Qatar? So if Iraq defeats Qatar, they will play Australia. That I'm predicting them to play Australia. Well, oh boy. This one is hard. I'm predicting a South Korea Qatar in the quarterfinals. So if Iraq get past Qatar, they will most likely meet South Korea, who will be a difficult team to get across. So if they defeat Qatar, I think they will get to the quarterfinals. South Korea might prove a bit too difficult for them, in my opinion. So all right, so Laertes said India qualified because everyone else withdrew from their group. We're talking about the qualifiers. Okay, Science Unlocked says I skip his questions. Okay, what are your thoughts on the future of Indian football? Are they really sleeping giants of world football? I don't think they're sleeping giants. Don't think they are sleeping giants. You know, they need to speak more on the football field, and I think the Asian Cup was the perfect opportunity for them to do so, and they really failed, you know, to stamp their authority on their group like they should have done. India should have won this group by 7 points. They should have been in the round of 16 right now, but or beyond, but they really was in a position where they were uncomfortable, and that being 3 points. They were uncomfortable. That was the first time they got themselves in that position. So I don't think they're sleeping giants, but I do think India can, you know, develop a lot in terms of their football, but just like their cricket, they need to get more youngsters passionate about the sport, and the Indian Super League needs to be bigger than what it is right now. Just like how the Indian Premier League is in cricket, where you have so many foreign stars coming in, getting paid big money. You know, something like that may attract, you know, attention to the sport in India, in turn inspiring more, you know, youngsters to play football, and, you know, you will see more and more talent come through. There's already a good little pool of talent, but they just need, you know, to keep more and more players coming through. That's just my thoughts on that. You know, the IPL in cricket has really helped Indian cricket, especially in, you know, the shorter versions of the game. Players coming through, you know, the IPL, and if they have a similar situation with the Indian Super League, we can also see similar, you know, results in the football. Okay, so Laird is talking about the 1950 World Cup. Yes. I do remember something like that. They qualified because, you know, they didn't even, I don't think they played any games, and they qualified, and then they withdrew from the World Cup because they weren't allowed to play barefooted, which they wanted to play barefooted, and they weren't allowed to play barefooted at the World Cup, and they withdrew. I think it's something like that. What's up, Advenco? What's up, man? You can watch the replay, you know, in case of anything. But guys, any more questions for me? Any more questions? Let me look and see if I missed any questions. Okay, Banter Class says, all you need to do against South Korea is mark Hunming Son out of the game. Easier said than done, though. Yeah, you have a point, but, you know, Mark and Son will, you know, leave space for the other players, you know, because there's also the two Huangs. The two Huangs in the team are very, very good. The forward Huang, he won Player of the Year in South Korea, I think, and the other one is really, really good as well. So You know, you'll open space for the other players if you put two men to mark Hunming's son. So, newest star. Dominic, what do you think about the, let me see. See that word? The arbitrage. I really don't use that word in AFC until now. I really don't use that word in my everyday life. Sorry. I have to look that word up. I'm not afraid to say I don't really use that word. Okay. Arbitrage. The simultaneous buying and selling of security. What? Buying and selling of what? What are you talking about? I don't understand. You have to rephrase that question. Break it down in simpler terms. Break it down in simpler terms because I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you're using the wrong word. Definitely using the wrong word here. Arbitrage does not, sorry, I used the Dutch word accident. Yeah, because that does not mean, that does not mean, it's okay. I understand, but, that definitely does not mean, you see, that's not in my everyday language. So I'm like, what is this? That word is to buy and sell assets using arbitrage. Anyways, it's fine. It's fine. The refereeing at the AFC Asian Cup, I think that's what you're asking. It has been rather suspect. It started out good. It started out really, really good. And then as we got deeper into the competition, it got really suspect. I can't remember which game it was today. I can't remember which game it was, but there was a handball. There was a handball in the box. Player, and penalty wasn't given. I can't remember which game it was today. Somebody enlightened me on that. There was a handball, it wasn't given, and we've seen a few occasions, where there were handballs. Yeah, it might have been the UAE game versus Kyrgyzstan that they had a handball that they could have, equalized, and it wasn't given. I can't remember, but the refereeing has been really, really suspect. It's a good thing that they will have VAR in the quarterfinals and beyond. So we have that to look forward to. There has been a lot of suspect refereeing, like goals being scored not allowed for no reason. Like, Almoez Ali versus Saudi Arabia, he scored a few goals and they were disallowed, and it was like, why are you disallowing the goals? A few, suspect penalties that wasn't supposed to be given, and it was given, change the whole, outcome of the match, non-calls and wrong calls, so the refereeing has been rather suspect. Rather suspect. Yes, they should have used VAR since the beginning of the tournament, but I think it's because some of the games they probably thought was, low profile, and VAR cost money. Of course, they probably did not use it, but they should have definitely used VAR. So all in all, I think the Asian Cup has been a very awesome tournament. Despite some of the refereeing blunders, it has been an awesome tournament. I've enjoyed it. It's my first one. So Science Unlocked is asking, who can be new coach of India? Do you have any info? Is it going to be a big name? I don't know. I don't know any info on that right now. I haven't been doing any deep searches on India as of late. Sooner or later, someone will comment and let me know. But Juan Antonio Pizzi gone. We saw, few more coaches gone. Stephen Constantine of India, Thai coach sacked, Syrian coach sacked, and there might be a few more after the tournament, and there might have already been a few more. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Okay, Advenko, what are your thoughts on the circumvention of Vietnam on their nascent hopes of qualifying in the current milieu? Oh man, you're using some big. What are you trying to? What are you trying to do? You trying to show me up here? I think you're doing this on purpose. I think you're doing this on purpose. Definitely doing this on purpose. But let me Vietnam. I think I understand what you're trying to ask, but Vietnam should just take it one game at a time, approach every opponent with respect, just go into the game with a game plan. And, like they have been doing in their last few games, they could pick up results. They could definitely pick up results. But I think they are a good team, well-drilled team. One team to look forward for, the future. And they just have to keep working, with the current crop of players. Kang Fong looks good. The names are hard to remember. The names are so much alike, but, it is, the names are really, really hard to remember. But that guy up top who plays, this up top, he's a number 10. He's called a Vietnamese Messi, and they're not calling him that for nothing. But I do think they could get past Japan, but they need to approach the game very, very carefully. They have to approach it very, very carefully, and they got to take their chances. They have to be resolute in defense, and that's how they're going to get past Japan, because Japan could either score a lot or they might just scrape through the 1-0 victory again. But Vietnam, they need to take whatever chance they get. And a lot of times when you're the underdogs, that usually, is your downfall. You do get the chances, but when they come, whenever you fail to take your chances, that's where you end up losing the game. When you're an underdog, you have to be clinical. When you get a chance, you punish the team. If you get a second one, you punish them. If you get a third, you punish them. And by the time you look, the game is far gone from, the favorite team. And I think it can happen versus Japan in favor of Vietnam. Okay. So, Netwesta. Advenko, you asked yesterday about Beran Van. Until now, he has offers from Besiktas and Fenerbahce from Turkey, Dinamo Kiev, Ukraine, Torino, Italy, and clubs from Portugal, Netherlands. I was actually thinking about that today. I'm like, this guy Ali Reza Beran Van could get far. He could be, recruited by one of these European teams. And just to mention, he is from Kyrgyzstan. So I think his story is a really good one, a success story that you guys could do, some research on. It's a good read, so he has been the best keeper of the tournament so far, going past Khaled Isa, who I think was really, suspect yesterday versus Kyrgyzstan. When I was watching the highlights, I'm like, oh no, there goes Khaled Isa, dethroned by Beran Van as the top keeper of the tournament. So definitely can go to one of these, big clubs in Europe. Turkey could be a good destination for him, could be a good launching pad for him. If Besiktas has a guy like Karius keeping for them, why not Ali Reza, Beran Van, who saving penalties from Ronaldo and Al Muhairi and these big ballers. Anyways, he is from Lorestan, not Kurdistan. Well, whatever, man. Whatever. He is a Kurd. He is definitely a Kurd. Okay. You can go to his page and ask him himself if he's curd or not. Well, look, I read before that he's curd. Somebody said that he is curd. So I just wanted to mention that. What do you think about Saudi Arabia? Will do Pitsy keep on fire? Brian, Pitsy is gone already. I don't know if you heard me say that Juan Antonio Pitsy is no longer the coach of Saudi Arabia. He's no longer the coach of Saudi Arabia. He is gone. He stepped down as coach. He wasn't sacked. It's fine. It's fine. He wasn't sacked, but he stepped down. So Saudi Arabia, I think they have a problem with, finding the right coach and keeping the coach. Because I remember Juan Antonio Pizzi won the Copa America with Chile. But Saudi Arabia, man, they always have this problem with firing their coaches when they don't produce titles, results. So what I want to do right now, really quick, I just want to take a look, as we're talking about that, I want to take a look at Saudi Arabia's managerial changes as, recent managerial changes. Trying to find that right now. So their managerial history. Okay. Managerial history, guys. Look at this. Oh my God. It's a lot of managers, guys. A lot of managers. So Juan Antonio Pizzi, 2017. Before him, it was Eduardo Bauza. I remember when Bauza was in charge of Saudi Arabia. It was just after he got sacked by Argentina. Saudi Arabia took him on and sacked him. Bauza lasted 2 months. 2 months. It's lucky that, Juan Antonio Pizzi lasted a year and 2 months. So Pizzi lasted a year and 2 months. Bauza lasted 2 months. Then we had Bert van Marwijk, the Dutchman. He lasted 2 years. Then Faisal Al-Baden, I guess he was interim. He lasted a few months. Then we had Cosmin Oliru. He's a Romanian coach. He lasted 1 year. Then we had Juan Ramon Caro. He lasted 1 year. We had Frank Rijkaard, 2 years. We had Rogério Lourenço. He lasted 1 month, a Brazilian. I don't know if he was interim. We had Nasser Al-Johar. He lasted 1 month. Before that, there was Jose Peseiro. He lasted 2 years. Nasser Al-Johar, he was there before. I just mentioned his name. He lasted a year. Not even a year. And the coach before that, a Brazilian, he lasted 1 year. A Brazilian before that, Marcos Paqueta, 1 year. So Saudi Arabia's, they have not locked down a long-term coach in a very long, they have never, it seems, had a coach for a very long time. They had a lot of Brazilian coaches, in English coaches, but they failed to lock down. They have a coach here. The first manager I'm looking at right now, his name is Abdul Rahman Fauzi. He's an Egyptian. And he was their manager from 1957 to 61. And that was the 4 years, was the longest Saudi Arabia ever had a coach. There was Mario Zagallo, the World Cup winner with Brazil, captain and player. He held it for 3 years. And that was it. That was it. They can't seem to hold a coach, and maybe that is their problem. Maybe that definitely is their problem. During Mario Zagallo's tenure, he might have won 1 Asian Cup, and then they won a few Asian Cups in the 80s. So haven't won it since. So there you go, guys. There you go. That's Saudi Arabia's problems. Okay. Oh boy, any more questions? So Advenco is saying that Saudi won't qualify for the 2022 World Cup. They could qualify because of who the opponents in Asia. And guys, I came up with a really great video idea today. And that video idea was do like an Asian, since the Asian Cup is going on and I have a better knowledge of, the Asian football teams, I could do like an early prediction for the Asian teams that will qualify for the 2022 World Cup. I know I mentioned some teams already in my early prediction, but I could do an updated version and just throw it out there, in the YouTube verse. So I will basically take the format of the last qualifiers, and I could look at how the qualification process will look like. I could do a draw and do a whole simulation of the AFC 2022 qualifiers and tell you the teams that I think will qualify. I think they have 4 automatic places and Qatar as well. And then they have a playoff spot, if I'm not mistaken. But if Iraq continues to play like they are, they could definitely qualify for the 2022 World Cup, though. UAE looks good as well. Uzbekistan, it's really hard. It's gonna be a hard one. It's gonna be tricky. Vietnam, Thailand, these teams could definitely, vie for spots. But with the big teams like South Korea, Japan, Australia, Saudi Arabia, it's very, very difficult to get. Iran, how am I not mentioning Iran? It's very difficult to get a single spot at the World Cup. Very, very difficult. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. But guys, I'm your boy, Dominic Rich, man. I gotta go. It's after 12 already. I'm really hungry, thirsty and all. Stream has been going on for 46 minutes. I appreciate you joining today's stream. And like I promised yesterday and didn't deliver on my promise that I will stream a little bit earlier, after the final fixtures, I will try to stream a bit earlier. I will prepare tomorrow's stream in terms of, well, you know what? I think there might be a rest day, so I will, okay, yes, there is a rest day. So in between the 23rd, I will do a live stream on the 23rd call quarterfinals, predictions, and beyond. But tomorrow, I will come back to do the final 2 round of 16 games. I will be doing live streams from now on, maybe until the semis, because I'm really strapped for time these days, But guys, thank you very much for joining the stream. Everyone in here right now. Advenco, it's Irfan is up in here as well. Nueshta, Brian Hinojosa, Max LaRusso. What's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining Football Cricket. Lay it Gaming. You guys have the same name, basically. And everyone else in here that I'm failing to mention. Prince of Parthia. I'm just going through the names. Who else do we have in here? If I fail to mention your name, just comment. Omar M, thank you very much for joining today. And for some of you guys, who are not mods, guys, I will be giving out more mods in 2019. So make sure you continue to comment on the channel, like the video, share the videos and stuff like that, and continue to support your boy, man. We have my boy from Bosnia here. His name is in Cyrillic. Right, I can't read that name. Sorry. But what's up? Yeah. Okay, Marko Vukovic. What's up, Marko Vukovic? Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much, Newishtar. Thank you very much. Oh, Mario. Oh, Mario. I said Marco. I don't know why I said Marco. What? Mario. Okay. Palestine needs to play less defensive. Palestine is a good team. Have a lot of, players from South America in their team. Palestinian, descent, the Argentina, Chile. It's awesome, man. Awesome. But, guys, man, thank you very much. I'm your boy, Dominic Rich. There will be a lot of hot content coming your way in 2019. So stick around, man. Stick around. Thank you very much for your continued support. Really, really appreciate it. I've been going 2 years strong on this channel, almost at 20K. Seems like, you know, the subscription has hit a snag, you know, in the Asian Cup. I don't know why. Maybe people unsubbing, you know, maybe all the Indians that subbed during the tournament unsub because India got knocked out. I don't know what's going on. But sooner or later, I will get over that 20K mark. You know, Champions League is coming around. You know, I have to do some Champions League content for the round of 16. So there's a lot of work to be done. AFCON 2019, Gold Cup 2019, Women's World Cup. I'll try to do a bit of that as well. Also, the Copa America. There's a lot of tournament. UEFA Nations League final coming up. It's a lot of tournaments coming up, man. You know, the title race in the English Premier League between Liverpool and Manchester City. You know, we have transfers going on right now. I want to do a transfer live stream, guys. Look out for the transfer live stream at the end of the month to just talk about all the big transfers in January. And there's a lot of content. I can't ever run out of content. That's one thing with me. But guys, I'm your boy Dominic Rich. So peace out. And as Omar M says, the grind never stops. Okay? So until tomorrow, peace out. Rich Squad.